Hi guys, this is Mia from Mimo Design Laser Files. Today I'll show you how to make these adorable lightning ornaments. There's a battery cap for easy changing of the battery if it runs dry. And the assembling, though it seems a little bit hard, it really isn't. So I'll show you how to do it. This is my third version of lightning ornaments. I started with a tree design that had no battery door. Then I made a snowflake version with some tracks, but I wasn't quite satisfied anyway, so I made this, and this one is easy. It does require a glue gun. I have this wireless one from Bosch. But besides that, it's pretty straightforward. So when you get the file, you want to cut it from 1/8 inch, that's 3 millimeter. The divider you can either cut in 2 layers if you're using 3 millimeter, or you can cut them from 1 layer of 1/4 inch, that's 6 millimeter. The reason this one needs to be 6 is because you need these fairy lights, and they are around 6 millimeters in height, so you want to find something that's equal to the height for this part. So there's a ton of gluing together on these, but what I did this time was to make these scored marks on the backer. So once it's assembled, it will look something like this. You glue this on top, and I will say that this door that needs engraving, if you don't feel like your engraving takes up too much material, engrave it twice, because the more material you take off this, the easier it will slide once it's assembled. So this is the light base, this is the back, this one will go in here, and there's the door, let's flip it over, and the front. I'm doing the polar bear right now, this guy. I'll not be doing the painting tutorial for him on this video, because this is all about assembling the ornaments. And the assembling for this can be used on all my future files. So this is a basic assembly guide. So let's get to it. I'm talking way too much. First off, you want to glue these rings to the light thing, template, call it what you want. I had some super glue somewhere. Where did I leave that? I'll just open a new pack. And then you can see that the super glue I'm using is from Loctite, Super Attack. You can use any. I usually use wood glue from Vinavil for all my projects, but super glue is a bit faster on this one. And by the way, I cut these from veneered. It's called fiber sheets in Italy, where I bought them. So I'm not pretty sure what it actually is, but it looks like some sort of compressed MDF with a laminated surface. It's the only thing I can get in 3 millimeter, because my plywood is at least 4 millimeter. And you need 6 millimeter on this one. So I took 2 layers of 3 millimeter 1/8 inch for this one. So take the split frames and glue them together. If you don't align it totally perfect, I'll show you how to hide that. But if you can align it do it as good as possible so everything lines up perfect. So that's the split frame. And you could glue this one on the template. And for this one, I would suggest that you keep your light close and kind of squeeze it in between so you don't accidentally, how do you say, squeeze these together and take away the space for the light holder. That's it. And you might as well take the back and glue on top of the back. You could pre-paint or pre-stain all these elements on the front and the back, but I'll do it afterwards since I'll be making this ornament as a two-way tutorial. So assembly tutorial and a painting tutorial. I did have little issues with this one because this is a little harder to cut than my wood because it's more solid. So I'll show you how to disguise these edges as well, like I did on the penguin. So if you don't get totally straight, you can hide it. For the battery door, push this one in, and while it's sitting there, you glue this one on top. I will say that if you have any issues with it being too snug, you could use sandpaper and just wipe over and sand off some more material. Or you could use a sharp knife tool and kind of scrape it off. And I actually want mine to go this way because this side is ugly, this one is pretty. So I'll stuff this in, add glue to the back of the door, and place it gently. Make sure that it's aligned and in place. And there we go. I see I didn't get enough glue on this one. That's the awesome thing about super glue, because it's running easy, so you can always glue a little afterwards. I just always get this on my fingers, so I'll use a glove to wipe off the excess. I hate having this on my fingers, but as careful as I am, I always tend to get it anyway. Our neighbor's gardener is mowing the lawn, it sounds like. So sorry about that noise. Okay, I'm satisfied. So away with this for now, and back to the lights. As said, you want to use a glue gun, so I'll just let mine heat up, if I can. There we go. And the lights, I bought this pack of lights from Amazon. I linked similar lights on the listing, because these are bought from Amazon Italy. But what you want to look after is the battery shape and that it's 10 bulbs of LED. The length of these are pretty long, and I actually unwired one because that takes a little time as well. So you can see that it's way too long for the shape of the ornament. But I found this easier way to assemble, and it's actually pretty simple. I made these scored circles. That's where you place your lights. You add the glue. Whoops. Place the first bulb. Just hold it a bit until the dry is hardening. Like that. And you kind of just continue like that all the way. So, ouch, that wasn't totally dry. I always burn myself when using hot glue. I think I might not be the only one. I'll just grab my scissor to hold them down. So once you've got the first bulb, you just take the cord and mess it up. Place the next bulb. Let it harden. I might speed up this part because it takes a little longer, because I have to hold it. But I'll show you a few more bulbs, and then I'll just do my work and speed down the video again. So there's a bulb more. Everything inside of the ornament will be completely hidden once the front is on. So don't worry about how it looks from the inside. You should worry about how it will look from the outside. And this is way easier than the tricks and everything else I did on the first editions. I like to improve my files all the time, and I listen to your advice. So if you have any issues with my files or anything like that, please let me know, because I really appreciate constructive feedback. And I'm still kind of new to this. I've been designing in 2 years, so I still have a lot to learn. Let's see if I can place this while this isn't totally dry. I can't. Patience isn't my strongest side. But that's something I'm working on as well. Especially after I started painting with more details and such. It does take a little extra time, but it's so much worth it. I glued on the rest of the lights, except for this last one, because it's very important that you keep the last light as close to the cords of the battery pack as possible. So I'll just glue this last one in. I think my glue gun turned off. There we go. That means I've been working in 10 minutes on these, because it turns off after 10 minutes. So that's pretty much how long it takes to glue these together. There you go. So I now have all my light bulbs glued to the back, like that. I made a total mess, as you can see, but the cool thing is that you just kind of push all the cords down, bend them, and make sure that they are free from your battery hole. Once you have them placed inside this frame, you might go ahead and use just a little glue to hold them down. And again, this will not be visible, so it doesn't matter how ugly it looks, because you can see it anyway. So just get some glue in there so it will hold up. And I'm sorry, my nose is running a little. Me and my toddler have had the colds for like a month or so now. It's so annoying. But that's just the price on Christmas time, I guess. Let's just have this dry a little, and I think I'm done. There you go. So for the battery pack, I'm sorry, I'm Danish and I stumble over my words all the time, but I hope you can hear what I'm saying and understand me. So for the battery pack, you want it to be facing like this, or the opposite direction. Whatever direction you want it to be like. I like to keep the back upwards when I'm assembling, because that will leave a nicer result when you're removing the battery door. So you take the cord and just tangle it over the battery pack. And for the excess cord, you glue that down. Like that. I'll use my scissor to just hold it down so I don't burn my fingers again. I've probably said ouch about 10 times while I speeded up this video. And just a mess with hot glue. So now that that's done, you could glue on the front. I'll just remove these. We like to call them spider webs in Denmark. I'm not sure what you call them actually. So that's it. Now you can just glue on, sorry, not my hot glue. Glue on the front. And again, I'm using super glue, so it will dry up fast. Make sure it's aligned with the hole and the sides. And I got this stuff on my fingers again. I hate working with super glue. Let's hold this. And there you go. So this is what it will look like from the back. And I said, as long as you, what do you call that? As long as you place the cord around the battery pack, that should be fine. Then you squeeze in the door. It might be a little snug the first time, but the more times you take it off and put it in, it will slide better. If you still find that it's not sliding too well, you could still use some sandpaper and smoothen the edges and remove a little more material. So that's pretty much it. I'll be making the painting tutorial for the polar bear, but it will look something like this. And there you go.